When fans talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the names that usually come up are Jotaro, Joseph, or even Johnny. But what about Giorno Giovanna? Definitely JoJo. Yeah, I'm talking about the boy whose hair mysteriously turned yellow, the guy who became a mafia boss at 15, rewrote Fate, and the guy who drank piss. But why isn't he as talked about as much as the other JoJos? Does he not portray the same level of goofiness and charisma as Joseph? Does he not match Jotaro's Kujo's cool and stoic demeanor? Does he even come close to Johnny's compelling character development? What do you remember of Giorno? What makes him a good character? Is Giorno even a good character? Or is Giorno just overlooked? Well, in this video, I'll be explaining why I feel like Giorno is a good character, and why I feel like he's overlooked within the JoJo world, and why I believe he should get more attention and more love. Is he the bland and boring character that we all know him out to be? Or is he just a character that doesn't get the credit that he deserves? Now, part of why I feel like Giorno is overlooked is his demeanor. He's calm, composed, and focused in nearly every stand encounter. We can see this occur like the fight with Babyface. In this stand encounter, we can see Giorno being pushed to the brink of death, and him questioning that this stand might be invincible, something beyond his capabilities. However, in a single instant, he was able to keep composure and outsmart his enemy in seconds. But honestly, I'd even argue that he might be the smartest JoJo. Part of why is because Giorno is by far the most analytical JoJo we've seen. First, we can see how he approaches every stand fight. He takes every detail into account, and tries to understand the full picture before acting. We see this at the near end of Golden Wind, when unexpectedly he carefully analyzes how Misa's gun broke apart, almost as if his gun were taken apart by one force, rather than by accident, which grants suspicion that Diavolo's spirit is in one of his members' bodies, in which this analysis causes Diavolo to be pushed into a corner, causing Diavolo to acknowledge that Giorno's intellect and prowess is one not to be underestimated. And to be honest, even I was shocked that Giorno was able to figure this out, simply because Misa's gun being broken off looks suspicious. Pretty impressive. Something else I want to point out is that Giorno's father, Dio, and Jonathan, since Dio infused himself with Jonathan's body and was able to produce Giorno, we get to see a mix of two people within him, basically an amalgamation, which is Dio and Jonathan. Giorno's violent and brutal side comes from Dio. We can see this when Giorno brutally beats up his opponents, and also his stand cry, mimicking the world, while Jonathan's side plays a role in his charismatic, kind, and sort of gentleman personality. I think it's pretty cool how Araki was able to display two people in Giorno. Pretty cool. Golden Experience is the stand of Giorno. Now on the surface, its ability to infuse life into inanimate objects seems odd. However, this power is deeply symbolic and perfectly aligned with Giorno's character and the themes of the series. Giorno's ability allows him to turn an inanimate ability into a living object, like a rock into a frog, a ladder into a rose, or a tree branch into a functioning body part. But that power reflects Giorno's core belief, bringing life into a dying world. These abilities connect with Giorno's ideology, his way of life. Giorno is a bringer of change within the Mafia world, while other stands are destructive or controlling. Giorno's stand emphasizes life and growth and renewal. Moving on to GER, I want to go over its symbolism and how it revolutionized the Golden Experience, and Giorno himself. As you all might know, Giorno's breaking abilities allow any action against him to be reverted to zero, which basically means he can deny the reality that was opposed against him, reshaping reality. GER not only symbolizes power creation and growth, but now protects life and nullifies any attempt to oppose evil or death through control or manipulation. This transformation perfectly aligns with Giorno's mission to create a better world by erasing its evil foundations. Giorno now becomes an unstoppable force, a symbol of justice. He now achieves his vision with an unstoppable realization of it. Now, another reason Giorno might feel overlooked is the way Golden Wind is structured. It's an ensemble cast. Unlike other parts where JoJo is front and center, Giorno is more like a supporter with Bucciarati and his crew. Now, some people, even me, don't really remember Giorno making the main character impression on a lot of people. While he is the main character, Araki made it so Giorno's job within Passion is to draw out the better qualities in his teammates. He shows a great high resolve and faith in them that he goes out of his way to put his life in danger, knowing that they will follow through and get the job done. Giorno rarely ever takes center in fights, instead empowers his teammates, guiding them to victory, while pursuing his own dream. This is seen pretty well throughout his fight with Gaccio. While Mista is in the middle of his fight with Gaccio, Giorno actively reminds him of the idea of resolve. Mista takes this into the heart, and now shows Gaccio that his own resolve is stronger than his, therefore outperforming his opponents and defeating Gaccio. Giorno's role is often misunderstood, but a way I like to put it is that Giorno isn't meant to grow or develop or play the leader role like the other JoJos. Our argument is so that he's meant to change the world around him, give life and rebirth to the evil and corrupt mafia world. And that's why I really think Giorno is just so unique. So, is Giorno Giovanna an overlooked JoJo? Honestly, yeah, I think he is. But I also think he's misunderstood. Not because he lacks power or importance, but because his role and persona is different from what we've seen. His leadership is quiet, his growth is subtle, and his victories come through strategy rather than brute force. He doesn't need to be loud or powerful. He just needs to act. And when he does, the world around him changes. This den is very unique, his role within the story is important, and a common misconception I see is that Giorno is often seen as a bland character with little to no character development. But look at it like this. Giorno is on a journey of growth and self-discovery. Giorno is a man on a mission. The mission is to rule the mafia world. Giorno is at the peak of his character journey. He's already submitted his goals and ideals. He already knows what he wants to be. He was never meant to change or to be redefined, unlike the rest of the cast. He's just out for the top spot, and that is why he has such an impact on everyone in the cast. Giorno's role is to be the common, driven force that lifts others up, and quietly reshapes the mafia from within. Not by changing himself, but by inspiring change in everyone else. Giorno is the successor, the idealist, the strategist, the supporter. Giorno is a great JoJo, and one that deserves more attention.